Hi, this is Sue with Creations by Sue. Thank you for visiting my channel today. In this video, I am going to show you how to create a personalized keychain in Embrilliance and then take it to your PR1055X embroidery machine and stitch it out, and then take it to the Brother ScanNCut and cut it out. So to begin, we're here in Embrilliance and I'm using Essentials. And right now I've got the 4x4 hoop drawn out, and the way to do that is I go up to this yellow box at the top that says Preferences, click that, and then also what's important here, I'm going to be using PES software for the embroidery machine, so make sure that you've got it set to whatever software your machine needs to use. And then I scroll down and I find the 100 by 100 hoop, which is the 4x4. It shows right here. And then I'm going to press OK. All right, now I'm going to bring the key fob in. And so I go up here to the left top where it says File. And I click on that, and then I put Open. I click on Open. And I need to get this out of Bugalina, which is where I bought it from. But I'm just going to, you're going to know on your computer where you need to go to find files. And I'm scrolling down here and finding the blank rectangle, which is right here. All right, click on that and then press open, and it fits perfectly in the hoop. All right, and then I'm going to be putting the name Isaac on that. So I go up here to the letter A, the capital letter A at the top towards the right where it says Create Letters. Click on that. And then I go over here to the right and you see text ABC. I will delete the ABC or at least highlight over it, and I'm going to type in Isaac. Oops. And there's Isaac. And then I want to use a font called TBS Newton that I purchased. So I will click on this box or rectangle that says ABC block. Left click that. And then I start typing in TBS Newton. And you can see TBS Newton is right here. Click that, and there is my name in the font that I want it to be in. So then I'm putting it into my keychain rectangle, and I want it to be larger than what it is. So I'm going to grab the box at the top in the middle and scroll up with that, and then over to the side. And just work with this till I get it to the size that I like for this keychain. Maybe just a little larger. I want to fill the keychain in pretty good here. All right, there's that. Now, I want to look at how my stitching is going to look on this keychain. So to do that, I need to zoom in, and I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm zooming in. And it looks pretty good, but I can see that there's a little bit of, empty space here and over here on the eye. So in order to, and when I'm going to be sewing on a pleather, and when I'm sewing on a pleather, embroidering on a pleather, it's important that I have enough stitches to cover the pleather. Sometimes they don't cover it well, and then you can see through a little bit. So what I do next is I'm going to click on the name. And then I go over here on the right to stitch. You can see stitch right here. Click that, and then I'm going to adjust the density. So one thing I want to do, I want to make the letters a little wider because they will fall into the vinyl a little bit, or pleather, whatever you want to call it. So by making the letters just a little wider, that'll help. So I'm going to comp it 2. So I go up 2, and watch the letters when I let go. And you can see they got a little larger. And now I'm going to fill it in a little more, so then I go to my satin, which right now is at 0%. You can either increase or decrease the satin here, and I want to increase. So I'm going to go to 15% and see what that does. That looks really nice. I'm going to go to 25%, which is maximum, and just see what that does. And that looks really good. Probably go down to 20 here and see what that looks like. I think 20 will be fine. That looks very nice. So I'll leave it at 20. And then what I need to do next is save it onto a USB stick in order to take, because that's how I get mine over to the machine. So I will get a USB stick and do that. I'll be right back. All right, I put my USB stick in, so now I'll go up to File over here on the far left, click that, and go down. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. Don't do that yet. All right, over here on the right, you can see the layout here. You can see that first it's going to stitch out the design outline for placement on the stabilizer, and then it will stitch out that inside decorative line, and then it's going to stitch out the outside line. So I want Isaac to stitch out after this decorative line. So I'm going to grab Isaac, left click and grab that and pull it up. And now I've got it stitching out after the dark gray line. So we'll just check it. There's the dark gray line. Then I hit Isaac and you can see that stitching out next, and then the rectangle. All right, so we're all set now. So now I go up to File over here on the left click that, and I'm going to press Save As. Save As. And it's going to save to this USB stick that I put in. So I'm saving it as, down here I can name it under File Name. So I'm going to put in Isaac. And I pressed Return, and it's now saved on my USB stick and ready to go to my machine. All right, so we'll go over to the machine and stitch this out. Here we are at the Brother PR1055X, and on the screen I'm going to press down here the lower left hand second icon in, because that is my USB stick. And you can see right here is Isaac, so I will click on Isaac and I'll press Set. And there's Isaac on the screen. So next thing I will do is press Edit End, the lower right there, and then I will just check Isaac. I like where it's located. I do need to set up stops for the thread for the stitching, so I go to this top fourth box over on the right, click that. Here you can see number 1 is going to stitch my outline. Sometimes I don't need it to stitch an outline, and if that is the case, then I would press this right here, this box with the red dash going through the lines, and then it wouldn't do that stitch out for me. But today I am going to go ahead and stitch out a placement line, so I won't press that. But I do want it to stop at the next stitch, the second stitch out. So I'll press the hand to have it stop. And then that way I can place my pleather over the stitch placement line and then have it stitch this design. I don't need it to stop at Isaac, although I am going to have it stop at Isaac because I'm going to put some water-soluble stabilizer down before I have it stitch out Isaac, so I'll put the hand up again. And I do need it to stop here at the last stitch also, so put the hand up for that. Press OK, and I'll actually be using the same color thread for every step, so I can press this box down, the second row of boxes, the far one on the right here, and that will keep all the colors the same. And I'm going to be using a tan thread because I'll be doing this on brown pleather today. All right, time to press embroidery. Oh, one last thing, I'm using a factory hoop here, so I do not need to do a trace on this because the machine recognizes the hoop. If I was using a mighty hoop, I would want to be sure to do a trace. Press embroidery, and I'm all set to go. So now what I will do is go ahead and press, I'm going to have it run at 500 stitches per minute, so I want to go down to that, and then I'm going to go ahead and press lock and green key, and it will stitch out that first stitch. Oh, last thing is, sorry, press this icon here to have it go to the thread color that I want, which is going to be on number 6. And you can see all of them change to number 6. All right, press OK. Now I'll press the lock button or lock spot here that's all red, and press the green key and off it goes. You can see that. All right, now I'm going to put my brown pleather over the stitch placement line. And one thing I like to do is have the hoop come out towards me. So in order for that to happen, I go over to this icon on the bottom with the 2 needles and the 2 arrows on either side. Press OK. Whoops, no, don't press OK. Press that and then press that icon and then press the second box on the bottom over from the left and then press OK. And now the hoop moves out so I can easily put my pleather down. It's got some stuff on it there. All right, and I will just put a little tape around the pleather just to hold it in place when it gets started here. Probably fine to do tape on just the one end. Double checking to make sure I'm covering everything. I'm going to move it down just a little so I have plenty of space to cut it and actually even tape it to my mat on the ScanNCut. All right, there we go. I would stitch out the rectangle. Very nice stitch out. Next, I want to put some Sulky Solvy water soluble stabilizer on top of this just to keep the stitches a little more on top of the vinyl or pleather. So again, I'm going to have the hoop come out towards me, so I'm going to press this icon on the bottom, bring it out, and then now I'm actually going to remove my tape, put this on there. This is just kind of a leftover piece of stabilizer from another project. That's why it's good to save your stabilizer, and if you're using the water soluble, be sure to put it into a bag because it'll dry out if you just leave it sit out. All right, then I'll press OK, and now I will go ahead and have it stitch Isaac. And I will not keep this running the whole time it's stitching Isaac, just to make the video a little shorter and easier for you to get to the next step that you want to watch. All right, so it finished stitching out Isaac and it looks really good. I'm going to pull it out and just show you. I like, or I guess you can't see too good because of the lighting, so I will turn my camera here. So there it is, and that worked really well to widen the letters a little bit, and they stayed on top of that pleather really well with the increase that I did in the satin stitch. So, all right, next I need to tape onto the back the back piece, and one thing is you can see here there's threads that need to be trimmed on the outside, and you want to be sure to trim those if you're going to be cutting this on a ScanNCut, because I have had it get caught on those before. So yes, just be sure to trim anything that's hanging over the sides of your keychain or whatever else you're making. So I've got that all trimmed up nice now. I guess I'm going to keep it that way so I know how to put it back on the machine. All right, and then I'm just going to put the backing on. I like to tape that on all 4 corners. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. That is all taped, and I also switched my white bobbin thread out for a thread that matches this color that I'm using on the top so that the bottom will also match. All right, now time to stitch the last step, I should say. And one thing I don't want on the back is a bird's nest, and oftentimes at the start of the stitching there will be a bird's nest if I were to just let it start stitching right now. So to prevent that, I will show you what to do. Alright, so I'm going to take these little scissors. You can take whatever works for you, and I grab the thread from behind number 6, which is the thread I'm using. You want to be sure to grab it behind the needle and not in front. And I've made the mistake of grabbing it in front before, but this time I didn't. Okay, and then I pull some of that thread out and I hold on to it tightly. And then I go ahead and start the stitching. But when it does one stitch, I'm going to press this green button to stop it. Stop. And, oh, I grabbed the wrong thread. Okay. I grabbed number 7. All right, so we will just take number 6 out of there, pull it out, and I'm going to go back one stitch. So I'm pressing the plus minus with the needle over here on the bottom, the 5th one from the left. And I'm going to press -1 to go back. All right, try that again. All right, now I pull up on my bobbin, or on the thread that I was holding on to, and that pulls the bobbin thread up. Pull that bobbin thread through and have both threads in my hand, and then I want to go back one stitch again. So I'll do that. Press the lock key and let it get started. Hang on tight because it tries to pull that thread back in. All right, and then I like to stop it and cut those threads at the beginning there just to have it off of there. You don't have to do that. I just find it a little easier to do it now than at the end. All right, and then I'm going to let it stitch the rest of the way, and the next step will be taking it over to the ScanNCut and cutting it out with that. That is finished stitching. Pull it off the machine and take a look. Looks nice on the front, and it looks real nice on the back. So now I will remove it from the hoop and take the tape off the back. And then I probably won't cut that, or I could cut that now. Either way, you can cut it now or you can cut it after it's cut out on the ScanNCut, but I guess cutting it now does prevent it from accidentally laying the wrong way and getting onto your ScanNCut path of cutting. So we cut that. There we go. All right, and then I will take this paper up. Since I'm only doing one, I'm going to pull the paper off the best I can, as close as I can to the stitching, which gives the ScanNCut one less thing to cut through. There we go. All right, now that's ready to put on the ScanNCut mat. Here we are at the mat. Going to lay this on here like this. I try to get it as straight as I can with the lines, but I'm usually never perfect. All right, and then I roll it. And I put blue masking tape down on the sides to hold it down better. I called it blue masking tape. It's actually a blue painter's tape. I reuse this. Try your best not to touch the mat with your fingers, just because that can take some of the glue off is what I've heard. So and when I was rolling it, I was using actually a Pampered Chef rolling pin. You can use whatever works for you. You can buy the brayers that are specifically for this, or use what you have in your kitchen cupboard, which is what I do. All right, there we go. That looks good, and now we'll take it over to the ScanNCut. So we're here at the ScanNCut, and I'm going to first of all get the mat into the machine. All right. Oh boy, I'm in tight quarters here, so a little hard to work. Okay, I'm just going to do it this way. And the other thing I do is, if I were to just direct scan this and cut it, all the thread, these little thread loops, it would make like a curvy cut around the edges, and I want it to be a straight cut. So I will use the design from the USB that I used for the actual design on the machine. I'll get that. All right, I've got that USB in the machine, and I'm going to press Retrieve Data. And then here you see the USB icon, the second down from the left. I press that. And here's Isaac right here. So I'm going to press that. And I press this little flower. Press OK, because that's exactly what I want. And now I have three options, and I use the middle option that is blank and press OK. And then press Set. And now I do want to scan this mat in so that I know exactly where Isaac is located, and that is the beauty of the Brother ScanNCut, is it scans your mat for you to show you what's on it. And it reads the PES designs, which works great when you want to do projects like this. All right, so there's Isaac on my mat. So now I'm going to grab this design with my little cursor here and bring it over above Isaac, and I will do my best to get it exactly on there. And I do like to increase, zoom in so I can see it better. So in order to do that, I press Edit, the little zoom up here, little magnifying glass, and now I can see it better. So I can see that I am not on that stitching like I want to be. So I'm going to use these arrows right here to move it until it is on the stitching. And that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to do one thing just to see, and that is I pressed OK. I'm going to go to Object Edit. I'm just going to turn it 1 degree this way and see if that, I'm going to try it the other way too. I think it has to come this way, possibly has to come that way. Press OK. Press OK again, and then I'm going to press the magnifying glass again and see if it's just a little more on my design here. I think it is, so I'm going to keep it like that, and then, yep, I'm just making sure, moving it to make sure that it's on there the best it can be. And I'll press down here in your lower left-hand corner. It says 200%. I can make that bigger, so I press the plus in that magnifying glass, and now it's very big. So now I'm going to move, and the way to move to look at it are to use these arrows here or here. So I move over, and then I'm going to move down and get a good look. And that is looking really good. You can see that it's on the lines real nicely there on the stitch lines. I'm going to just move it to the right 1 little degree, and that even looks better. Perfect. All right, now I need to put a border around it, so I press OK. Press Object Edit again, and now this middle box on the lower bottom of the lit up 9 boxes, I press that. And offset distance. So I want to offset this probably, I'll go to 11. Just to give it plenty of space around the key fob. It just depends how much offset distance you want on yours, but to be safe, I like to go a little large, so 11 is what I'm going to do, and then I press OK and OK again, and now I need to press the trash can to throw away the original line there, because that offset added the offset line, but it kept that original line. So we press the trash can, press OK, and now you can see a nice clean line around that. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom one more time just to make sure it is correct. Always good to double check. And that looks real nice. You can see the line is around that real nicely. So then I press OK and OK again and keep pressing OK till you get to the please select, and then I'm going to be selecting cut. And I need to go into tools to change my speed. I don't want it at 5. I want the cut speed to be at 1, the slowest I can go. And then I'm going to move down. I want my cut pressure at auto. And I do not want half cut. Half cut is when you're only going through part of your design for something like stickers. So I'm going to turn that off. Or iron on vinyl is half cut. And then everything else looks good. I'm not using a weeding box or anything, so then OK. Press OK. And now I'll be pressing start, but you may see here that my tape came up a little bit, so I need to make sure that's down. Probably because I reuse tape, but it works well for me, so I keep doing that, save a little money and tape. All right, and press start, and it will cut this out. I'll increase it a bit so you can see it a little better. It'll make 1 or 2 passes for cutting, or I should say 1 or 2 more passes for the cutting. All right, let's take a look. Looks real nice. I like it. That worked great. And then I should mention that what I'll do to get some of this water-soluble stabilizer off the middle of the letters is either peel it away, or I take just a very lightly damp cloth and wipe it with that, and they come right off. So all I have left to do is to put in my snaps, which I'll do next. I was poking the holes and showing you how to do it, and I didn't have it on camera. It was below the camera. I'm sorry about that. So I've already poked the holes here for the snaps. Put the snap top on into each hole. I check to make sure it looks centered before I secure it. That looks centered. One thing I'm looking at, okay, yeah, it will work. I have not made this rectangular keychain before, but it looks good. I think it should work okay. All right, and then I take my tool and clamp that on and put the back on the other cap here. Clamp that on with my tool. And let's take a look. We're just going to need a little swivel hook put in there, and we'll have a beautiful keychain. Sorry, I was below the camera again. I'm sorry about that. Here we are. All set to go. I'll go get a swivel hook and show you the finished product. Here is the finished keychain ready to gift to Isaac. I removed the water-soluble stabilizer with by using a little, I just peeled it off. I didn't use any water this time. You can see both sides are looking good. Thank you for watching today. I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. I've enjoyed teaching you how to make this keychain from start to finish. Enjoy using your Embrilliance Essentials software, your Brother PR1055X embroidery machine, and your Brother ScanNCut. Bye! Oh, and be sure to press the subscribe button if you want to be notified of future videos. Bye!